This girls' trip was way, way, way overdue. Okay, this group of friends needed this. Not only was the stress and the just pressure and hecticness of COVID getting to them, but as a group, as a friendship circle, they had started to somewhat drift apart. Life had just started to get the better of them, and so they were not as close as they used to be. So Fumi will actually, her husband, Pastor Richard, suggested that his wife organize a trip for her and her girlfriends for them to come together to reconnect and to rebuild this friendship of many, many years. And so Fumi does that. She organizes the trip. So we've got Cassandra. Cassandra is a mother of two, she's married, and she's a medical doctor. Then we've got Tumi. Tumi is a mother of two. She is separated, well, trial separation from her husband, and she's in the financial world. Then we've got Juliet, aka Juju. She is the life of the party, but she's also really serious, somewhat serious and professional. She's a gynecologist. She is single. She called off her engagement from her fiance, Nathaniel. Then we have got Tando. Tando is the Makoti here. She is the newlywed. She's just that mommy. She is the one. She married her husband recently, as I said, and she's just having a good time. She's still in marital bliss, and she's a interior decorator. She's that lady who's got style, who's just got that instinct. She walks into rooms and she's like, yeah, this is it, this is what we can do, this is what we're not about to do. She is highly rated, she comes highly recommended, she is here. And then we've got Fumi. Fumi, as I said, is married to Pastor Richard. She's the oldest of the group, and she's a mother of three and a therapist. Now you can see how her and Pastor Richard's careers and their lives have really intertwined, and just, they balance each other out. They have that thing. So the day before the trip, Fumi is in her closet packing, and Pastor Richard walks in and is like, how's everything going? How's the packing going? She's like, no, it's good. I've only got a couple of kaftans and perhaps I should get another bathing suit, but I'm good. And he says, so how are you feeling about it? She tells him, truth be told, I'm just a little nervous. Now, as I said to you guys before, Fumi knows her group of friends. She knows them very well. And she also knows that there's been a bit of that tension and that disconnect. And so she wasn't quite sure how things would plan out that weekend. But she really, really, really wanted them to come together to just reconnect. And he's reassuring her, no, everything's going to be fine. I'm sure of it. This is well needed. I'm sure you ladies are going to come together. You're going to reconnect, remind each other of the old, well, not really old days, but just remind each other of your guys' friendship and your connection. It's going to be okay. You've done the right thing. You did good by organizing this trip. And that just makes Fumi feel a bit like, no, my husband's right. Pastor R is right. It's going to be okay. Destination Bazaruto Island, Mozambique. Oh my goodness, can you guys say luxury? Can you guys say opulence? Can you guys say paradise? Just that beautiful tropical island. I mean, listen, white beaches, clear water, just those palm trees everywhere. Where the villa they were staying in was luxurious. This was 5-star treatment. Fumi was not playing. She knows style. Her friends are about that life. She knows what she's doing. And so she gets there and she's just like, yeah, this is it. This is the business. And of course, when they get there, they're like, wow, Fumi, you have really outdone yourself. Thank you. Now, Fumi again, she's not here for the shenanigans. She made sure that she checked everything ahead of time, made sure that the rooms were good, made sure that none of her friends would feel, slighted or feel some type of way about the rooms. She just made sure the whole villa was popping, so everybody was happy. There wasn't going to be arguments about rooms or no. It was popping. She did her job. She did her homework. So they get there and they're just like, wow. They go and put their bags down in their rooms and they come back to the dining room area so that they could pop open a bottle of bubbles. They welcome complimentary champagne. And of course, Fumi rather, just not really being here for the... She's a pastor's wife, you guys. She's the first lady at her church. She's not finna drink. She's not there. She's not with it. No judgment. She's okay without alcohol. And so she gets water and they toast to this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful island that, just by the way, from the dining room, they had this beautiful, they had just absolutely beautiful view of just the ocean, just peace and... please, just can you imagine? And Fumi goes back to the room to call Pastor Richard to just let him know that they arrived safely, that they've checked in. Well, yeah, they've checked in and everything is good. And of course, he does a prayer with her, thanking God for the travel mercies. Tando goes to her room. She is... here on the phone calling her husband Michael to give him a little tour of the villa. She's so excited to be there, but the whole time she's there, she's thinking, oh my goodness, he would love this place. This island is gorgeous. Bazaruto Island is gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. And Tumi and Juju, nope. They're not here to sleep. They go straight for the pool, jump in. They've got their drinks going. They're laughing. They're having a good time in the water. Cassandra is also not here to play. She came here to have some good rest. And so she goes to her room and she takes a real good, well-deserved nap. So while Juju and Tumi are in the water, Tumi is like, so how are you? How are things going? How are the kids? How are they dealing with everything? How are they dealing with the separation? And Tumi lets her know that, look, it's been tough. It's been an adjustment for all of us, but we're going to survive. One thing I told myself was that I was never going to stay in any sort of toxic relationship or marriage for the sake of children. It's just, they are not foolish. Kids feel things, they know things, they understand, their intuition is up there, and I don't want to subject them to any bad energy or vibes. It's best that we are separate so that they are okay. And Juju then asks her, but what is Tsepo saying? Now this Tsepo is Tumi's husband that she's just separated from, or she is separated from, not just. And she's like, he's still telling me how he regrets it, how none of those women meant a thing and all of that. Like, I just really don't care. I really don't care. I don't want to hear what he has to say. It's just foolery and mess as far as I'm concerned. And she says, do you still love him? And Tumi says, I think I'll always love him. He's my childhood sweetheart. Am I still in love with him? No, I don't believe I am. And so they continue to drink and have a good time. Now, they'd already decided from the get, because this was the day they had arrived and most of the day had gone, they were going to keep it cute this evening and just go for a very short dinner. And so they did, because day 2 was going to be something special. Excuse me. Day 2 comes and Fumi wakes up and she's making coffee for everybody. The rest of the ladies wake up, they meet in the kitchen, and she's like, so how did you guys sleep? And they're all just telling her how amazing this place is and thanking her once again for selecting such a beautiful villa, a place that's comfortable for them all. They really appreciate it. And she's like, no, guys, come. It's not even a big deal. I'm just glad you guys like it. And yeah, let's just enjoy. But please remember, 11:30, we've got to be at the beach, the dock, at the dock, we've got to, you know, catch that vibe. Yep, yep. This was the yacht life. Day 2 was the yacht life. And so they got ready, they went to their rooms, put on their kaftans, their throwovers, just beautiful big hats, flats. They were just looking like rich aunties, okay? Rich aunties ready for that vibe. Sunglasses, all of that. They were just ready to catch some serious vibes. And so they go to where they needed to be. They climb on board, and from when they get on, the ambience, the vibe is it, you guys. The people there are all about, you guys have spent or dropped a cute coin, so you're going to feel it. You are going to be treated, and treated well. And so from when they got on, it was welcome drinks, it was finger foods, and then they were shown to their little lounge area on the yacht. So they go there, they have a seat, and they're just drinking, having a good time, having a very good time. The captain goes out, and at a certain point he stops so that they can enjoy just the view from where they are on the water and have a good lunch. And now, of course, you guys know what I'm about to say. It was seafood, it was garlic bread, salads, different types of rolls, chicken, that peri-peri chicken. They are living, okay? Living. So they're there, yeah, just rich auntie vibes living. And so Fumi says, I'd like to make a toast if you guys don't mind. And so she lifts her water and she says, I guess I'm just going to have to do this with my water. And they all burst out laughing and they lift their glasses. And she says, you know, this year has been a very, very difficult, relatively long year. And I just wanted to say that, you know, yes, we may have grown apart. Things may have gotten really strained and tough, but there's nowhere I would rather be. I love you guys. I will always be here to sisterhood, to reconnecting, to rebuilding, and to growing. And they all cheers. And then there's that, you know, silence after the toast, and Juju says, yeah, why have we though? Why have we grown apart? And Fumi takes a moment and she says, I think just life got very tough for everybody. And I think we've all been through a lot. It's just, I guess, one of those things. It's one of those things. And Tando chimes in and says, yeah, but that shouldn't actually be an excuse. We should have all kept in touch. We should have done more to be in the loop. We shouldn't have allowed it to get to this. And Dumi says, so why didn't you call any of us? And Tando says, why didn't you call me? And she's like, no, but you're the one. When Cassandra's like, guys, please, no, none of this. We're all to blame. We should have all picked up the phone and called each other, but at least we're here. It's not too late. We're with each other. Let's just keep it like, we're good. It's not too late. Let's rebuild. Let's connect now. We're here. Look at this beautiful view. Let's have a good time. At this point, Dumi is looking at Tando like... Cassandra makes her way to the bathroom, and while she's there, she gets a message, a very, very, very disturbing message. And so she manages to come out of the bathroom and position herself in such a way that nobody else can see her but Fumi. And so she's signaling Fumi to come over, and Fumi goes over and she's like, is everything okay? And Cassandra says, no, I got a voice note message from one of my girls and some screenshot messages. Apparently Tsepo was out last night and he was arrested while trying to pick up a sex worker. Fumi is like, what? Are you kidding me? She was like, no, apparently he was under the influence and he got belligerent. He started arguing with the cops. Somebody recorded the thing, and now it's making its rounds online. And she was like, no, the kids, are you kidding me? And she was like, I really wish I could tell you this is a joke. This is not a joke. She said that she would send me the video. I told her I really didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see it. What am I going to do? Should I tell Dumi? Fumi takes a moment to process it and to think, and she just says, I mean, ordinarily I would have said this should wait until, after the trip, but unfortunately, social media, if it's already online, I would hate for her to be blindsided. I think you should just pull her aside and tell her. That's the only thing you can do. You have to pull her aside and tell her. Cassandra takes a moment to gather herself because she knows this conversation is not going to be easy. She knows this is just awkward. This is the last thing they need. And quite frankly, she doesn't want to be the Debbie Downer. She doesn't want to be the person, negative Nancy, bringing bad news to the vibe. She just doesn't want that. And so she takes a moment and then she walks back over to the group and she says, Dumi, can I please talk to you? Now, judging by her vibe and her posture and just her aura, Dumi could pick up immediately that something was not quite right. And so she looked at Cassandra and she was like, why? What is it? And Cassandra's like, just please, can you come with me? I would like to talk to you. Now, while she's explaining that, no, I want to talk to you in private, Tando gets a message. Does mommy not look at her phone and then look up in shock like, what the heck? Yep, baby girl has received the video. She cannot believe her eyes. So Dumi at this point now knows there's something going on and she wants to know now. So she was like, Cass, tell me what it is now. I'm not going somewhere private with you. I've got nothing to hide, so tell me what it is. And Cassandra begins to tell her that I got a message from a friend who says that Tsepo ran into a bit of trouble last night. He was arrested while trying to pick up a sex worker and he was under the influence. It got really messy. He was resisting arrest and somebody recorded it and posted it online. Dumi takes a moment. You can see baby girl is hurt. She takes a moment and she's just like, well, I'm not surprised. Tsepo is a pig. I'm really not surprised. And everybody's kind of quiet. And she's just like, guys, why? Why are you guys acting so weird? We're separated. Remember, what he does is his business. It's okay. They knew it was not okay. They knew it was hurtful. They knew it was a mess. But they kept quiet. They sat down and they carried on drinking as if nothing had happened. But they noticed that Dumi's demeanor, just her energy changed. And Mommy was chasing mimosa after mimosa. She was just revved up and she's going for it. Now they decided that as soon as they got back to the hotel, they weren't going to they were going to go to a beach party at the resort. They were going to go to a beach party and just enjoy something festive. They weren't looking to go back and sleep. I mean, come on, they'd been drinking, so why go back and sleep this off? So of course, when the yacht comes in, they get off, they go right back to the villa, they get dressed up, okay? Slip dresses, gorgeous summer flowy, long vibes, skirts, crop tops, all of it. They get dressed, makeup, all of that, ready for the beach party. They get down to the beach party. There's this beautiful vibe going, passata music. There are candles on the beach. There are this beautiful summer breeze. They've decorated the place nicely. There's a fire going. They've got the braai stand ready to grill, cook seafood and all of that. It's a vibe. It is a complete vibe, and it helps that they got there really tipsy anyway and ready to eat. The night went on, they ate, they drank some more. Oh my goodness, the energy. And of course the other guests were also enjoying. At some point they had a live band come on to the beach front and perform for them. And oh my goodness, being who she is, Juju got up and was dancing. Eventually Dumi got up and started dancing. Now one of the guests noticed Dumi. He was feeling her and Dumi was feeling him too. So they were giving each other eyes the whole time. And the only person who noticed this was Fumi, because she was the only sober one there. And so she's watching this whole thing. And eventually Dumi gets up and she starts dancing with this guy. She's grinding, she's doing all of them things. And Fumi doesn't say anything. They're all grown-ups. Fumi is not going to say a thing. The following morning, Fumi is up early. She goes to the kitchen to get some coffee started and some breakfast because she knows it's about to be a really rough night for the rest of the ladies. I mean, they have had some drinks. So Cassandra hears her in the kitchen and she goes over and she's, good morning. And Fumi's like, good morning, how are you feeling? And she's like, I'm actually not feeling too bad. I didn't overdo it yesterday. So I'm good. Can I help you with anything? And Fumi's like, yeah, no, sure, you can. Just have some coffee and, And they start talking about the night before and how amazing it was, the music, the food, how beautifully they'd set up on the beach, just really, taking it in. And Cassandra then says to Fumi, I feel really bad about telling Dumi what I did. I just really, really feel bad. She's telling Fumi. And Fumi says to her, look, you did the right thing. The only person who has to feel bad and should be ashamed is Tsepo. You did the right thing. You absolutely did the right thing. And she's like, I mean, I hope so, because I really think that news revved her up. She really drank a lot. And Fumi said, I noticed that too, but what can you do? You can't control how she's going to react to it. I think the best we can do is just be supportive and it's just be supportive and help try and take her mind off it these next few days. And so they both agreed that they were going to do their best to kind of just keep Tumi's mind off this mess back at home. Now, Fumi, being the planner, knew that the day on the yacht was going to be a lot. She knew it when she planned the itinerary. So she wasn't expecting anybody to leave the villa that day. So what she did was she made sure she organized with the resort that they could have a cook come in and braai for them at the villa. And so they did. They had somebody come in and prepare hella meal for the ladies. The ladies slept the whole day, just by the way. It was just Fumi and Cassandra who were up, making sure everything was good. They were drinking coffee, chatting, catching up, reconnecting, and the cook is there here with the lobsters, with the calamari, with the prawns, with the chorizo sausage, with the sardines, the chicken, the bread, and all of that. Like, he is throwing down. They're ready to eat. Eventually, the ladies get up and they sit around that outside dining area. They eat. They catch up about last night. Fumi is asking them, how did you guys find it? I really hope you enjoyed that beach party. And they're like, absolutely. Juju is like, oh my goodness, that pasada and that live band were absolutely amazing. They were amazing. And Cassandra's like, yep, I have not danced that much in a very long time. And they're like, and you, Tando? And she was like, oh, it's such an amazing time. I just wish Michael was here. Thinking about him a lot. Cassandra's like, oh, you're a better person than me. I'm not thinking about my family. I love them, but I'm here to rest. I'm here to have a good time. And they laugh. They enjoy their dinner. They sit there. They are just enjoying. Eventually, Tando goes off to the bedroom so that she can FaceTime with Michael. So they're there chilling. An hour and a half goes by, and Tumi gets up to go to the kitchen to get some more ice. And Cassandra shouts out to her, please call Tando. She's like, Tumi, please call Tando. We want to have some dessert. Ask her if she's interested. And so Tumi nods her head. She goes to the kitchen, gets the ice, brings it back to the table, and walks off to go and call Tando. As she approaches Tando's bedroom, she hears Tando on the phone. And it doesn't occur to her that this is anything she shouldn't be hearing until she gets super close. That's when she hears Tando on the phone saying, yeah, I am so grateful to have met you. I'm just so happy to be married to you. Babe, my goodness, like, we really, really, really have it good. I mean, besides Fumi, everybody else's situation yeah, I'm sorry, I don't envy it at all. Dumi is already at the door, like, she knocks. Dessert, if you want to eat, there's some dessert. And she goes back to the table. As soon as she goes back to the table, her walk, the look on her face, everything tells them that something has happened. Before they can even ask, Tando comes walking out, kind of cheerfully. Did I miss anything? And Dumi says, you tell us, seeing that our lives are a mess, you tell us what's been missed. And she says, excuse me? And Dumi goes, oh, no, sorry, except Fumi. I mean, isn't that what you were saying on the phone? That our lives were a mess, except Fumi. Tando very quickly tries to, no, that's not what I meant. What I was trying to say, and Cassandra says, Dumi, don't start a problem. Just leave her. She's a newlywed. She's just leave her. We were all there once upon a time. It was a private conversation with her husband. Please just leave it alone before you start problems. And she was like, why is me telling you guys what she said a problem? Why would I be starting the problem? The problem is what she said. Why must I leave this alone? She's been married, 10, 11 months, and now she thinks she has it down pat. Now she thinks she's somehow an expert in marriage and everybody else here is a mess. No, in fact, please, seeing that you have a lot to say to your husband, how's about you take this opportunity to say it to us? Please let us know how we could do better. Please, I would like to hear this. And she sits down. Tando's like, to me, please. I didn't know. Dumi's like, no, tell us. Tell me how I could have stopped Tsepo from cheating on me. Let me know how I could have stopped Tsepo from cheating on me. Maybe tell Cassandra how she could perhaps balance her family and work life out better. Or do you perhaps want to tell Juju that she made a mistake calling off her engagement? Talk to us. Tell us. You've got a lot to say behind our backs. Talk to us. Tell us. At this point, Tando is like, Cassandra chimes in, Dumi, no, don't do that. This conversation is going to get ugly and it doesn't need to go this far. Juju then chimes in and says, actually, I would love to know about what you guys think about my calling off my engagement. I mean, I would genuinely and sincerely like to know. Cass looks at Juju and says, Juju, don't bite the apple. Don't allow Dumi to tempt you into this argument. Dumi very quickly snaps back. Dumi is here. She's here. She is quick with it. She's like, yeah, because I'm Eve. Tempt her into something. Don't bite the, I'm Eve. I'm Eve. Sure. At this point, Fumi's like, can everybody please just settle down? I think we need to have some conversation, but I don't think it needs to happen like this. And so they all sit down. Dumi's there waiting. She's waiting. She wants Tando to speak up. What has been said? So Tando says, Dumi, I'm so sorry. That is not how I meant for it to come out. That's not what I wanted to say. That's not what I meant to say. I was just letting Michael know that I'm grateful for him. I'm happy with our relationship. And you're just what? Why did you have to bring us into it then? What do we have to do with your relationship? And she's like, Dumi, please. I'm sorry. I've said I'm sorry. I don't know what you want me to say. And she's like, I would like you to speak. Speak up. Let us know why you think it's okay to speak on our relationships like this. At this point, Juju was like, well, if Tando's not going to speak, I would like to take this opportunity to ask you guys what happened. Why have you guys kind of distanced yourselves from me? Why does it feel like you've iced me out ever since I called off my engagement with Nathan? Why? What have I, do you guys think I've made a mistake? At this point, they're all quiet. And she's like, no, I genuinely want to know. I'm not fighting. I want to know. Do you guys think I've made a mistake? And so she looks at Dumi and she says, do you think I've made a mistake? And Dumi says, no. After we've had the conversations we've had and judging from my relationship as well, no. Hell no. I don't think you've made a mistake. Men are a mess. They're trash. Fumi is already shaking her head like, she looks at Cass and she's like, Cass, Speak up. Do you think I've made a mistake? And Cassandra says, I think you would have made a very lovely wife. I also think that you acted too quickly. I think you should have taken time, perhaps gone for therapy and counseling to see if it was really beyond, reconciliation before you just decided to call it off. I think you should have waited. And she's just like, she looks at Tando and she says, and you, she looks at Tando and she says, and you, Tando? And Tando says, I think you made a mistake. I think you've made a mistake, and I think that ever since you and Nathaniel broke up, you've been wilding out. I think you made a mistake. And she's like, and she looks at Fumi and she says, what about you? What do you think? And Fumi says to her, no, the question is, what do you think? And she's like, please don't psychoanalyze me. I've asked you a simple question. Do you think I made a mistake breaking it off with Nathan or not? Fumi says, I don't have an opinion on this matter. The truth of the matter is, I didn't know you and Nathan enough together to comment on this. What I have seen is that you don't seem to be very confident about your decision. That's what I've seen. And she was like, well, thank you. Thank you, everybody, for telling me the truth. And everybody kind of keeps quiet and looks at her, and she's like, Well, seeing that we're being honest, Cass, I think you're a fool. And Cassandra's like, excuse me? And she was like, yeah, I think you're a fool. I think you're married to one of the nicest men out there. I think you absolutely take advantage of the fact that he's understanding, that he's loyal, that he's respectful. I think that you don't treat him the way you should be treating him. And if you're not careful, another woman is going to come up in there and treat your man the way he should be treated. Cassandra's like, okay, well, I'm sorry I don't need your approval, but quite frankly, there's not much I feel I have to explain to you or anybody else. The fact of the matter is, life has gotten crazy. Life is very crazy. My husband knows that. I studied for a very long time to become a doctor. It took me even a very long time to open my own practice. And unfortunately, things are very busy and we haven't quite found our balance, but I most certainly do not take advantage of him. And she was like, what are you trying to say? That I should give up my practice? Because I'm sorry, I'm just not going to do that. And Juju says, no, don't give up your practice. Compromise. You need to compromise. And she's like, Juju, with the greatest of respect, honey, you cannot comment on my marriage, let alone marriage, period. You just cannot do that. And Juju's like, fine, Fumi, you jump in. Seeing that you're the professional, let her know that she is a fool, that she's making a mistake. And before Fumi can say anything, Dumi is back in it. Wait, no. Hello? Excuse me? No. I would like us to talk about Little Miss Perfect over here, who's using our relationships and our lives as a punchline as she speaks to her husband. Please, let's focus on Miss Perfect over here. At this point, Tando has had it. She's like, Dumi, what is it? What is it? I've apologized more than once. I've told you that the way it came out was not the way I meant it. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. What is your problem? What is your problem? What is your problem? I'm sorry. I'm just not going to apologize for the fact that I married well. The fact that I've got a husband who loves me and adores me. The fact that he's white. Is that a problem for you? Is that a problem for you? I'm not going to apologize that I am well taken care of. I am not depressed or stressed. I'm good. So what is it that you would like me to apologize for, Han? What? Tumi is looking at everybody like, can you see? And so she looks at them and she's like, do you guys see? Do you see what I was saying? Do you see? Miss Perfect over here, can you see what I was saying? Fumi is like, okay, guys, this conversation is going way too left. Everybody settle down, and let's bring it back down. We just need to speak to each other with more respect and be a lot more conscious about what we're saying. Let's think before we speak. And Dumi says, but how is what she said respectful? How is what Tando just said respectful? How is what she just said respectful? You're talking about respect. What did you hear what she just said? Listen to how she's talking to us. She thinks she's better than all of us. And Tando says, no, not us, you. I think I'm better than you. At this point, Dumi's like, say that again. And she says, I think I'm better than you. Okay, I said it. Dumi, you are not a nice person. You are not a nice person. Don't think I didn't hear about all the criticism and that nasty energy you brought to my wedding. Don't think I didn't hear about how you were criticizing the cake for being too creamy, my dress for being too tight, my husband's family, my in-laws for not being able to dance, the food wasn't warm enough. You brought this negative energy the whole time you were at my wedding. The whole time you were there. On top of that, the whole time you spent demeaning and reprimanding Tsepo like he's a child. That's a grown man you're reprimanding in front of people. Do you understand me? 90% of the time you're angry. The words that come out of your mouth are horrific. What is your problem? She's like, no wonder why that man ran to other women. At this point, Umi looks at her. She looks at her and she gets up and she walks out. The ladies are here. Fumi says, I think we need to call it a night. This has gotten way out of control. It's gotten way too ugly and I'm not here for it. Let's call it a night. And they agree. Go back to their rooms. Day 4. Fumi is in her room on the phone with Pastor Richard. She does not have the strength to get up and make breakfast and coffee. No, she is just spent from that argument the night before. So she goes to her room. She's relaxing and she hears a little knock on the door and she says, come in. And she sees Dumi standing there and she's like, come. And she says, babe, let me call you back. Now Dumi looks devastated and Fumi says, are you okay? Is everything okay? And Dumi walks towards the bed, shaking her head with tears in her eyes. And she says, what's wrong? And Fumi holds her tight and she's like, what's wrong? Talk to me. And Dumi says, I slept with him. And Fumi's like, who? And then she was like, Sergio, the guy from the beach party. And Fumi's like, what do you mean? And she says, last night I went back to my room after that argument. I just couldn't sleep. I was tossing and turning. I was stressed. I was feeling sick to my stomach. And him and I were talking. He invited me to his room for a drink. I went there. One thing led to another and it happened. And Fumi says, okay. Did you use protection? And she nods her head, yes. And then she's like, okay, that's something at least we don't have to worry about. And Dumi chuckles. And she says, okay. So, and before she can say anything, Dumi says, I'm a mess. I'm a mess. And Fumi says to her, you're not a mess. You're a woman who's been through a lot. You've been hurt. You've been betrayed. And you've tried to do what any mom would do, which is be strong and brave for the kids. And now it's just gotten too much. The load has gotten too much. And she says, can I ask you something? And Dumi nods. And she says, do you still love him? And she nods her head. And she says, are you still in love with him? And she nods her head. And then she says, but I can't forgive him. I just don't think I can forgive him. I'm angry. And Fumi says to my love, of course you're angry. You're human. I mean, for goodness sakes, even God got angry. God got angry. But you know what else? Now obviously explaining at some point God got angry with us as His humans. But you know what else God had for us? Mercy, forgiveness. Mercy and forgiveness. He showed us mercy and forgiveness time and time again. Think of the Lord's Prayer. Think of the Lord's Prayer. She's talking to Dumi. She's like, just think of those words. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. God knew at some point Dumi would need to forgive Tsepo. And He knew at some point Tsepo would need to forgive Dumi. He knew it. He knew it. He knew forgiveness was needed. That's why men of God preached, but that's why God spoke on it. He knew you would need forgiveness. Now, please, he knew Tsepo would need it. Now, please don't think for a second I'm trying to say the forgiveness looks like you taking Tsepo back. No. If you don't want to be with Tsepo, don't be with Tsepo. If you feel it's a toxic relationship beyond reconciliation, don't go there. But what I do think is you need to forgive him. Forgive him so that you can move forward. Because this is too much. It would be too much for anybody. It would be too much for anybody. The whole time Dumi is nodding her head and she says, I want you to see somebody. As soon as we get back into town, you need to see somebody. I've got colleagues I could recommend who are amazing, professional, or you can come and see me, whatever works for you, whatever you're comfortable with, but you do need to see somebody. It's time to start working through this. You can't carry this load any longer. And she agrees. She wipes Dumi's tears and eventually they go to the kitchen where the other ladies are sitting. Dumi immediately walks towards them. Tando stands up and she says, Dumi, I'm so sorry. I was way out of line yesterday. And Dumi says, no, I'm also sorry. I'm so sorry for what I did. Cassandra, I'm so sorry for what I said. Guys, they stood in that kitchen holding each other, hugging, just really trying to, just hugging, holding, just solidifying that apology. Now, of course, the rest of that day was spent just calm, eating leftovers, chilling by the pool, relaxing, not saying much. They were all ready to go home.